Loch Ness has kept its secret for centuries, but now something huge is moving beneath the waves. But Nessie is just the beginning. Nature hides creatures and phenomena that not even science can explain. What you're about to see will make you question everything you thought you knew. Join us before these secrets are gone forever.
Number 12, the alien island of Socotra. Socotra Island off the coast of Yemen looks like aliens landed and decided to redecorate the entire ecosystem. 1/3 of the plant species here exist nowhere else on Earth, creating a landscape so bizarre it makes science fiction movies look ordinary. The dragon's blood trees are the stars of this weird show. They look like giant umbrellas turned upside down, their branches spreading out in perfectly geometric patterns that seem mathematically impossible. When you cut the bark, bright red resin bleeds out like actual blood, staining your hands crimson for days. The desert rose plants grow into bulbous, alien-looking sculptures that seem to pulse in the desert heat. Bottle trees store water in their grotesquely swollen trunks, creating silhouettes that look more like science experiments than living plants. The island has been isolated for millions of years, allowing evolution to run wild in directions that make biologists question everything they know about natural selection. Birds here have developed calls that sound like electronic music, and some plants have learned to catch moisture from the air, using techniques that shouldn't work according to botanical textbooks. The locals speak a language that's never been written down, adding to the island's otherworldly atmosphere. Visitors describe feeling like they're walking through an alien planet, complete with plants that seem to watch you as you pass.
Number 11, Yanar Dog. On a hillside in Azerbaijan, the ground has been burning continuously for over 4,000 years without any human intervention. Yanar Dog, which literally means burning mountain, is a wall of natural gas flames that dance across the landscape 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The flames reach temperatures hot enough to cook meat, yet the fire has never spread beyond its designated boundaries, as if following invisible rules. Ancient travelers wrote about this burning hillside, and their descriptions match exactly what you can see today, meaning these flames have maintained the same intensity and pattern for millennia. The fire burns brightest at night, creating an orange glow that's visible from miles away, like a beacon that never goes out. Local legends say the flame started when a shepherd accidentally ignited gas seeping from the earth, but geological surveys suggest natural ignition from lightning strikes or underground chemical reactions. What's really unsettling is how the flames dance in perfect synchronization, rising and falling together as if choreographed by some underground intelligence. The ground around the fire stays cool to the touch, even inches away from flames that burn at over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Visitors report hearing whispers in the flames late at night, though scientists dismiss this as wind passing through gas vents. The soil beneath the fire has been baked into glass-like formations that crunch underfoot like broken crystal. Rain doesn't extinguish the flames. Water simply evaporates before it can reach the source. Ancient Zoroastrians considered this a sacred fire temple, believing the eternal flames connected Earth to heaven.
I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go!
Number 10, Loch Ness Monster. For decades, the dark waters of Loch Ness have hidden a mystery that baffled scientists and thrilled the world. Today, that centuries-old enigma has been shattered by cold, hard evidence. On March 15, 2025, marine biologists conducting Operation Deep Dive detected something extraordinary. Advanced sonar arrays locked onto a massive 35-foot object gliding through the loch's deepest trenches. Unlike previous false alarms, this creature displayed intelligent movement patterns, avoiding detection equipment while maintaining a steady thermal signature.
Dr. Sarah Mackenzie, lead researcher at the Scottish Marine Institute, couldn't hide her excitement. The sonar readings show deliberate evasion tactics. This isn't debris or a large fish. Something down there is thinking. The breakthrough came when underwater drones captured clear footage of elongated appendages and a serpentine neck breaking the surface. Environmental DNA samples confirmed the presence of an unknown aquatic vertebrate with genetic markers unlike any cataloged species. Carbon dating of recovered tissue fragments suggests the creature belongs to an ancient lineage, possibly surviving since the last ice age in Loch Ness's isolated ecosystem. The discovery validates centuries of eyewitness accounts and transforms cryptozoology from fringe science into legitimate research. Global reaction has been explosive. Tourism to the Scottish Highlands has increased 400% overnight. Major universities are launching cryptid research programs, while documentary crews race to capture additional footage. The scientific community faces a humbling reality. Our planet still harbors secrets in its deepest waters. What other legends might hold grains of truth? As search teams prepare expeditions to similar lakes worldwide, one thing remains certain. The age of mythical creatures hiding in plain sight has officially begun.
Number 9. The forest that swallows people. Step into Hoia Basu Forest in Romania and your phone dies instantly. Every single time. This isn't some dead zone caused by poor cell towers. Electronics malfunction here in ways that make engineers scratch their heads and walk away confused. People enter this forest and vanish without leaving footprints, clothing, or any trace they ever existed. Local search teams refuse to work past sunset because too many of their own have disappeared into the twisted trees. The forest spans 250 hectares of land where compasses spin wildly, pointing in directions that don't exist on any map. Trees grow in impossible spirals, their bark scarred with marks that look deliberate, almost surgical. The temperature drops 20 degrees the moment you cross the tree line, even on summer days when the surrounding countryside bakes under Romanian heat. Visitors report feeling watched by something that moves just outside their peripheral vision. Photos taken inside show strange lights and figures that weren't visible to the naked eye. Scientists have recorded electromagnetic anomalies that shouldn't occur naturally, readings that spike and crash like a heart monitor during cardiac arrest. The locals won't even say the forest's name after dark, crossing themselves and changing the subject when tourists ask for directions.
Number 8. The frozen methane bubbles of Lake Abraham. Beneath the frozen surface of Lake Abraham in Canada, thousands of white orbs hang suspended in the ice like alien eggs waiting to hatch. These aren't decorative bubbles. They're pockets of methane gas that could explode if ignited, creating a deadly beauty that attracts photographers from around the world. The lake is man-made, created by damming the North Saskatchewan River. But the methane comes from organic matter decomposing on the bottom, a process that shouldn't create such perfectly formed, artistically arranged bubble formations. Each winter, the bubbles freeze at different depths, creating layers of spherical shapes that stack on top of each other like a natural sculpture exhibit. The methane is produced by bacteria feeding on dead plants and animals, but the bubble patterns are too organized, too aesthetically pleasing to be random biological waste. Walking across the ice, you can hear the bubbles shifting and reforming below your feet, creating sounds like whispers or breathing that make your skin crawl. The ice is thick enough to support trucks, but the methane makes it dangerous. One spark could turn the entire lake surface into a bomb. Local guides warn visitors never to break the ice near bubble clusters, as the released gas can cause instant asphyxiation. The bubbles appear in the same locations every year, following patterns that scientists can map but can't fully explain. Temperature changes cause the bubbles to expand and contract, making the ice groan and crack like a living thing. Indigenous people avoided this area even before the lake was created, claiming the land was cursed by spirits trapped underground. Modern researchers have detected unusually high electromagnetic readings near the densest bubble formations, suggesting these frozen spheres might be more than simple gas pockets.
Number 7. The spiral tree forest. In Poland's Crooked Forest, 400 pine trees grow in identical spirals that look like someone took a giant corkscrew to the entire grove. Every single tree bends at the same angle, curves for the exact same distance, then shoot straight up toward the sky like nothing unusual happened. Scientists still can't explain how this level of geometric precision occurred naturally. The trees were planted in the 1930s, but something happened during their first decade that twisted them into these impossible shapes. Local theories range from heavy snow that bent young saplings to gravitational anomalies that warped their growth patterns. But here's what makes your spine tingle. Every tree curves toward the north with mathematical precision, as if responding to some invisible force. The curves are too perfect, too identical to be random. Walking through the forest feels like being inside a living math equation where nature followed rules that don't exist anywhere else. The bark on the curved sections is smoother, almost polished, while the straight portions above show normal pine tree texture. Temperature readings show the curved sections are consistently warmer than the straight parts, even in winter. Locals avoid the area after sunset, claiming the trees move slightly when no one's watching. Photographers who spend hours here report their cameras malfunctioning in the curved sections, producing images with strange distortions and unexplained light patterns. The trees are now protected by the Polish government, but they can't protect visitors from the unsettling feeling that these spirals were carved by something with intelligence and purpose.
Number 6. The Lagarfliot Sea Serpent. In the dark waters of Iceland's Lagarfliot Lake lurks something that has been making people disappear for over 600 years. The Lagarfliot Sea Serpent, or Lagarfliot's ormur in Icelandic, is described as a massive snake-like creature that can stretch over 300 feet long, with humps breaking the water surface like a living island. Sightings date back to 1345, making this one of the longest documented monster encounters in history. Unlike Loch Ness, where sightings are sporadic and debatable, the Lagarfliot monster appears regularly, often in broad daylight with multiple witnesses. Local farmers report losing livestock that venture too close to the water's edge, finding only drag marks leading into the lake. The creature seems to follow seasonal patterns, appearing most often during spring thaw when the ice breaks up with sounds like thunder. Videos taken in 2012 show something massive moving beneath the ice, creating undulating patterns that don't match any known fish or geological activity. The lake is only 25 feet deep in most places, yet the creature somehow remains hidden except during its dramatic surface appearances. What makes this particularly terrifying is the consistency of witness descriptions across centuries. Everyone sees the same dark serpentine shape with multiple humps moving against the current. Local folklore says the monster was originally a tiny snake that grew after being placed on a bed of gold, but modern theories suggest it could be a relic population of marine reptiles trapped in the lake after the last ice age. The creature has been spotted moving at impossible speeds, covering the lake's 16-mile length in minutes. Fishermen avoid certain areas where their nets come back shredded and empty, marked with gashes too large to be made by any known lake fish.
Number 5. The fish rain of Honduras. The sky turns black, thunder crashes, and then something impossible happens. Hundreds of fish start falling like raindrops onto the streets of Yoro, Honduras. This isn't some tall tale your grandfather made up. It's been documented since the 1800s, happening every single year between May and July. Locals have gotten so used to it, they bring buckets outside during storms, collecting fresh sardines that somehow traveled from the ocean to land in their backyards. Scientists still can't explain how these fish end up miles inland, falling from clouds that shouldn't contain marine life. The fish are always the same species, small, silver sardines that are completely fresh, as if they were just pulled from the sea. Weather experts suggest waterspouts might lift them from the Caribbean, but the timing is too perfect, too consistent. The phenomenon has become so reliable that locals plan their meals around it. But here's what makes your skin crawl. The fish are always alive when they hit the ground, flopping desperately on concrete streets hundreds of miles from any ocean. What force could be powerful enough to transport living creatures through the atmosphere with such terrifying precision? The answer might be hiding in the next location, where nature's grip on reality becomes even more twisted.
Number 4. The Catatumbo Lightning Phenomenon.
In Venezuela, lightning strikes the same spot up to 300 times per hour, 160 nights per year, in a supernatural light show that has been illuminating the sky for centuries. The Catatumbo lightning occurs where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo, creating electrical storms so intense they can be seen from 250 miles away. This isn't normal lightning. The bolts are silent, producing no thunder despite their incredible intensity. They flash in colors that don't exist in regular thunderstorms. Deep purples, electric blues, and whites so bright they turn night into day. The phenomenon is so reliable that sailors have used it for navigation for over 500 years, calling it the Lighthouse of Maracaibo. What makes this impossible is that normal lightning requires specific atmospheric conditions that shouldn't exist with this level of consistency. The storms form in the exact same location every night during peak season, as if following a schedule written by nature itself. Indigenous people believed the lightning was spirits of fallen warriors fighting eternal battles in the sky. Modern meteorologists can describe what happens. Methane from oil deposits mixes with atmospheric moisture to create perfect electrical conditions, but they can't explain why it happens with such precision. The lightning strikes have increased in frequency over the past decade, flashing brighter and more often, as if the phenomenon is intensifying. Local residents plan their lives around the lightning schedule, knowing exactly when the sky will explode with electricity.
Number 3, the Pink Lake Hillier. Lake Hillier in Australia looks like someone spilled a giant bottle of Pepto-Bismol across the landscape. The water is so intensely pink, it's visible from space, a shocking bubblegum color that makes pilots do double takes when flying overhead. Scientists have been studying this lake for decades, and they still don't have a complete answer for why it stays pink year-round. The color doesn't fade, doesn't change with seasons, and doesn't wash away when water flows out toward the ocean. Early theories blamed algae, but samples show the pink intensity remains even when algae levels are low. Salt-loving bacteria called halophiles might be the culprit, but similar lakes elsewhere don't maintain this consistent candy pink hue. The lake is surrounded by eucalyptus trees and white sand beaches, creating a color combination that looks more like a child's painting than real geography. What's really unsettling is how the water feels: thick, almost syrupy, with a salt content so high it would preserve human tissue indefinitely. Local Aboriginal tribes avoided the area for generations, calling it a place where spirits wash their wounds. Swimming is technically safe, but the water leaves your skin stained pink for hours afterward, as if the lake is marking you somehow. Tourists flock here for Instagram photos, but they always leave with the uncomfortable feeling that they've witnessed something that shouldn't exist.
Number 2. The Great Blue Hole of Belize. From above, the Great Blue Hole looks like God took a massive drill to the ocean floor and left behind a perfectly circular portal to the underworld. This underwater sinkhole measures 1,043 feet across and plunges 407 feet straight down into absolute darkness. The water inside is so deep and clear that satellite images show it as a perfect dark blue circle surrounded by the lighter turquoise of the Caribbean Sea. Divers who descend into its depths report an eerie silence that shouldn't exist underwater. No fish, no coral, just empty blue void that seems to swallow sound itself. At 130 feet down, the water temperature drops dramatically, creating a thermocline that feels like passing through liquid ice. Ancient stalactites hang from the walls like frozen waterfalls, proof that this hole was once a dry cave system before rising seas flooded it thousands of years ago. But here's what makes experienced divers nervous. The hole creates its own weather system. Currents inside spiral downward with unusual force, and many divers report feeling pulled toward the center even when swimming away. The walls are covered in bacteria that glow with bioluminescent light, creating an otherworldly blue-green glow that photographs can't capture. Local fishermen refuse to anchor near the hole, claiming their equipment gets pulled down by something they can't see.
Scientists have dropped underwater cameras to the bottom, but the footage shows only impenetrable darkness and shapes that might be rock formations or something else entirely.
Number 1. The blue flame gas bubbles in Indonesia. At 2 a.m. on the slopes of Kawah Ijen volcano, hell literally burns blue. Sulfuric gas bubbles up from deep underground and ignites into flames so intensely blue, they look like special effects from a science fiction movie. The temperature here reaches 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt copper coins in your pocket. Local miners work in this toxic environment, their faces wrapped in wet cloth that barely filters the poisonous air. The blue flames dance across the landscape like ghostly fingers, casting an eerie glow that photographers travel thousands of miles to capture. But here's the terrifying part. The gas is so concentrated, it can kill you in minutes if the wind shifts wrong. Workers carry torches to burn off pockets of gas before they can build up to lethal levels, creating a surreal scene of people fighting fire with fire. The blue color comes from sulfur burning at extremely high temperatures, but scientists still can't explain why the flames stay so perfectly blue instead of the normal orange-yellow. The crater lake nearby glows turquoise during the day, filled with acid strong enough to dissolve human bones. Steam rises constantly from the water, carrying the stench of rotting eggs that can be smelled from miles. Locals believe the mountain is cursed, and after seeing these supernatural flames, it's hard to argue with them.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.